Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Higurashi. So, last time, we had more weird stuff. We kind of brought up the topic of the dam and all of the history of the town, and, you know, we got back into the game, so to speak, a little bit. And from what I've been told, this is when it starts getting interesting again. So, I'm looking forward to today, and seeing how this pans out. So with that, let's continue. I knew we wouldn't be doing any club activities after school today before Mion even said anything. I'd been invited over by Shion for an all-you-can-eat dessert. Oh, right, yeah, I forgot about that. I made a point of leaving half my lunch uneaten. My expectations would only be rivaled by my hunger. Oh, yes, it did. I guess it was obvious. Rinna had questioned me with a happy look. That's right. Why don't I invite Rinna for dessert as well? No, if I recall correctly, Shion said something about having a ticket. At worst, the restaurant might be admission by ticket only today. If that was the case, then having Rinna be turned away at the door would result in the worst feeling ever.
ちょっとしたラッキーでさ。明日報告してやるよ。レナ、きっと羨ましがるぜ。
Whoa!
なんだろう。いいの。そのラッキーって可愛いかな。
Would sweets be considered cute? They could be, I suppose. Cute? Huh. I wonder what Rinna would think of the uniforms at Angel Mort. They'd definitely be a critical hit.
多分かなり可愛いかも。
いいの。
怖い。
何かな。へえ、どんな幸運に恵まれたのやら。あれ？ひょっとして2月くらい前にエンジェルモートで三角くじとか引いた？それに当たった？
おい、俺は2月前にはまだ転校してきてないぞ。
ああ、そっか。じゃあエンジェルのデザートフェスタでもないし。みーちゃん、エンジェルのデザートフェスタって何かな？
デザートフェスタ？
ほら、沖宮の駅前の正面にエンジェルモートっていうファミレスがあるじゃない？あそこではね、季節の変わり目に新デザートのお披露目イベントをやるんだよ。それが今日でね。あ、言っても無駄だよ。くじ当選者以外は入店できない貸し切りデーだから。
Mion explained once again what Shion explained to me last night.
レナも今度からお店に通ってみよう。頑張ってくじを当てて次のデザート食べ放題を狙うの。頑張れ。ちなみに聞いた話だと、当選くじはマニア垂涎のプラチナチケットで、闇では高値で取引されてるなんて噂が。
Is that so? How many pennies? Hearing that story, I felt even more appreciative of the ticket that Shion had procured for me. I just thought I was lucky to be able to eat dessert for free, but it turned out that that ticket was much more valuable. The number of things I had to thank Shion for had increased again.
ありがとな。そんなに価値があるものなんて。
You know the black market, the underground trading ring they have for dessert tickets? Just imagine. I whispered in a voice only Mion could hear. That was how I conveyed my feelings. Mion looked at me for a moment before she tilted her head to the side and smiled confusedly.
何？なんか言った？
It would be a problem if you said something to me right now. That smile seemed to be telling me as much. I guess Mion wouldn't be accepting any gratitude while she was Mion. I'll go to the restaurant. Today I'll thank Mion while she's Shion.
じゃあ、おじさんはこの辺で失礼するわ。今日のバイトはちょっとハードなんだよな。じゃあね。
Mion waved her hand energetically as she left.
ねえ、ケイ なんだかみーちゃん、最近変なの。
I know, right? It's almost like she lives a double life.
浮かれてるっていうか、嬉しそうっていうか。
そうなのか?
Rina was pretty sharp when it came to these types of things. To me, Mion seemed the same as always, but Rina apparently felt something different.
ケイチ君は知らないのかな。てっきり知ってるのかなって思って。
Rina's skirt fluttered as she spun around with a coy smile.
知ってるって俺が何を?
I was obviously weaseling my way out of the question, but I wasn't lying. Honestly, I really didn't know what was going on. Why did Shion, a persona of Mion that she'd created, appear before me? Something was blatantly up, but Rina paid it no heed.
そっか。じゃあ何なんだろうね。
Getting a little nervous about Rina now.
でもみーちゃんが機嫌いいとレナも嬉しいよ。
Or maybe not. Maybe it's fine. Saying that, she spread her arms wide and spun around happily. I didn't know why, but Rina was in a really good mood. It was so infectious that I had to smile too. Even the chirping of the cicadas seemed joyful.
でもね。
Rina abruptly stopped spinning. Her expression had returned to a more somber one.
みーちゃんね。つい最近ね。すごく傷つけられたの。
傷つけって、え?
The pain that Rina was talking about probably wasn't physical.
はじめはあまり気にしてないふりをしてたけど、怪我と同じ。だんだん腫れてきた。じんじん腫れてきた。
Why are you bringing this up now?
とうとう痛みがこらえられなくなって、夜中に目を覚ました。そしてレナに電話してきたの。みーちゃんは泣いてた。
ごめん。それ何の話だよ。
何の話？レナは今何か話をしてたの。
Oh no, Rina, don't start doing this now. I wonder if she's maybe hinting that Mion started using the separate persona as a coping mechanism?
おい、そんなとぼけ方するなよ。今レナは。
知らない。レナは何も知らないよ。
I do find it kind of interesting that Rina does this sometimes, where she hints at things but then backs off when you start pursuing it. Which of course leaves you confused but intrigued. She's done this both of these games. Rina spun as she laughed innocently. Eventually, she appeared to get sick, stumbling as she steadied herself with her hand against the wall.
バカだな。調子に乗ってぐるぐる回ってるからだよ。
ごめん。気持ち悪いかも。
I'll lend the Ditsa shoulder to lean on. To be stumbling around like a newborn fowl at this age is actually quite a feat. Rina, in a good mood, only babbled incoherently after that. I laughed as I responded to and chided her. However, the chance to revisit that heavy topic Rina had brought up before never arrived. Yeah, so let's just pretend that never happened, why don't we? As soon as I got home, I tossed aside my school bag and changed in a hurry. The effects of only having a light lunch were starting to show. As my stomach began to let out fickle growls. Alright, let's go! To Angel Mort! It's time to face the land of endless dessert! And totally not vomit all over the place as you're coming back. Because you're gonna have to bike back, presumably, right? Yeah, that might not be fun with an entire stomach full of dessert. Preparations for battle are complete. Tally-ho! Angel Mort had a decidedly different feel to it compared to yesterday. Dessert festa today? Admittance by reservation only. Nonetheless, the front of the store was being swarmed by over a dozen young men. Judging by how they were looking upwards in jealousy, instead of entering the store, they weren't invitees. Why would they gather here if they knew they couldn't get in? I found out the answer when I passed through the crowd and began to climb the steps to enter the restaurant. I wonder if they're going to try to buy it off you. Oh, ticket? Oh. As soon as I said that, I was immediately mobbed. It was like being in the middle of a football scrum on a crowded train. What's going on? The reason was this. It wasn't just one ticket per person. One ticket could let up to 4 people inside. Ah, so he could have brought a friend. With an uplifting smile, I turned and ignored them. When I did, their arms all reached out at once, like the souls seeking succor. What a jerk. What selfish people. This was the only reason they were crowded in front of the restaurant. Dozens of wretched arms reached out for me, like the teeth on a giant rake, and grasped at the air. I was already climbing the stairs to the entrance. This isn't something to joke about. I flew up the rest of the stairs and threw myself inside the restaurant. It was like I had entered a different world. Their miserable throng of the people hurled curses at me from the other side of the glass door. But inside of this completely soundproofed and air-conditioned restaurant, with the angelic smile of a waitress to welcome me, they were nothing more than a refreshing piece of scenery. I knew that I shouldn't laugh, but I began to let out a sinister cackle. Angel Morto?
本日はデザートフェスタにつき、チケットのお客様のみの貸し切りになっております。チケットとご方面をお伺いしてもよろしいでしょうか。
チケットはないけど、名簿に名前があると思います。前原です。
前原。あった。失礼ですが、フルネームでお伺いしてよろしいですか。
圭一です。前原圭一。
大変失礼いたしました。特別招待の前原圭一様ですね。お席へご案内いたします。どうぞこちらへ。
The mood inside the room was incredibly heated. The booths were packed to the brim. Men in their prime were stuffing their faces with dainty desserts that didn't suit them at all. It was a rather unnerving spectacle. Soon after I was shown to my seat, Shion arrived.
いらっしゃいませ。ようこそエンジェルモーターへ。
よーしよ。今日は本当にありがとうな。世話になりに来たぜ。
ちょっと遅かったから心配しました。でも来てくれて嬉しいです。
It may have been because other customers were around, that her tone was less casual, but she still capped off that welcome with her usual brilliant smile.
見ての通り、今日はお客さんがすっごいんで、定時に抜けさせてもらえるかちょっと自信がないんです。私の仕事が終わるまでのんびりしててくださいね。終わったら一緒に遊びに行きましょうね。
Whispering just that last part into my ear, Shion winked and returned to the kitchen. Maybe it was because the mood in the restaurant was so heated, but Shion seemed a bit bolder. Even a small change in her mannerisms was enough to set my heart aflutter.
お待たせしました。
While I was overwhelmed by the atmosphere inside the restaurant, orders from the new summer menu were carried out one after another. Every single one was extravagantly huge. I get it. You can eat all these amazing things for free. No wonder a ticket was worth its weight in gold. On top of that, all of it was plenty delicious. From dishes with a general appeal, to insane ones aimed at a specific audience. There were absolutely no gaps in their repertoire.
どう考えても一人で食う量じゃないかもしれないな。まあそれは置いておいて。
It didn't feel relaxing in here at all. Probably because the fervor inside the restaurant was clearly abnormal. All the other booth seats were crammed with groups of 4. Sleazy men were gorging like pigs on cutely decorated desserts. And it wouldn't have been a surprise if they started licking the plates. It was more than a little unsettling. It piqued my interest, so I started listening in on their conversation. And what things I heard. A clearly important dialogue here.
僕ですか。当選チケットは秘密ルートから7万で購入したつ。
Nice.
職場には親戚の葬式だと言ったにゃりよ。エンジェルは制服が最高にゃり。
This is kind of bothering me a little bit, that voice. Otaku voice.
水とかズボンにこぼしてフキフキとかしてくれないかにゃ。にゃにゃ。
エンジェルモートのフィギュアが今度発売されるらしいでござるな。次のイベントは要注意でござる。
そうそう。今度大手フィギュアメーカーが商品化を決めたそうであります。発売日は要チェックなのであります。
しかし大人買いするには種類が多すぎるのでごわすな。普通のファミレス制服のフィギュアなら10種類程度でごわすのに、今度のはシークレットポーズ差分込みでざっと100種類。
It's not even food, they got a whole line of products here.
ダブった時は誰かトレードしてもらいたいでおじゃる。ファンとしては即日コントは義務。いや、君と僕とのデスティニーでおじゃるよ。
What a bunch of weeaboos. The words spilling out of their mouths were pretty much all incomprehensible jargon. But they still keenly conveyed that hidden behind them was an invisible aura of abnormality.
お待たせしました。次のデザートは南国風シナモンのアバンチュールでございます。
Tropical cinnamon love affair. Yes, I'd like one tropical cinnamon love affair. Thank you.
どうかなさいましたか？
あ、いえ。
And my wife will have water.
なんかこう今日の店内は雰囲気が違うなと。
うちのお店、その道の方々にはかなり有名らしいんです。まあそういう狙いのお店ですからいいんですけどね。でもイベントの日のお客様はちょっと濃いめの方が多いんで困っちゃいます。
The waitress informed me quietly with a wry smile.
なんかお客の人たちも血走っててハイエナみたいですよね。今日のお客さんのほとんどはかなり遠方から無理してきてるみたいですからね。そういう方々ってハメを外しやすいんでちょっと怖いんです。ちゃんとガードを固めておかないと大変なんですから。
What did she mean by keep your guard up? Okay, at that moment, a large crash resounded through the room. I turned around, startled, to see that a waitress had fallen down and spilled the order she was carrying right onto a customer. Wait, isn't that Shion?
すみませんでした。そのお召し物は
なんてことするにゃり。
You ruined my priceless weeb shirt.
もうジーンズ専門店で生クリームでベトベトにゃりよ。
Pant, pant. I don't know if I like those noises. What is that? For somebody who just met with disaster, he seems awfully happy.
これはひどいですにょ。ウェイトレスさんが精神誠意フキフキするしかないでござるにょ。
The conversation suddenly veered off in an odd direction. Hey, what did he say? Wipey? Did he want Shion to wipe him down? Right over that obviously aberrant tent he had pitched over his crotch.
でも
Demo.
その私
ふきふきふきふきふきふき
The wipey chant quickly spread throughout the room. Totally cornered, Shion went pale. She looked over to a more experienced waitress for help, but was only met with the head shaking out of pity.
園崎さん、足を引っ掛けられたんですね。ああやってわざと衣服を汚させて絡んでくるお客が最近多いんですよ。
足を引っ掛けてだって？じゃあ今のあれも事故じゃなくて恋？
メインの女の子は十分気をつけてますから絶対ああはならないんですけど、園崎さんは短期バイトだからまだガードが甘くて、今日のお客様たちにも早々に見破られちゃったみたいで、朝からあんな感じで絡まれてるんです。
店長とかは何やってんだよ。あんな不良な客は追い出せよ。
We're in the service industry, so there's not much we can do about it. She laughed as she said that in a resigned tone. Shion trembled uncontrollably with the dishcloth in her hands as she turned bright red. The man who'd been doused in frosting splayed out on the bench, putting the cream-covered tent over his crotch on full display. Still mentally unprepared, her trembling hand inched forward, goaded on by onlookers.
さあさあさあ
Oh, yeah.
ふきふきするでござるよ
It's the wipies. From my male point of view, it might have been a ridiculous spectacle I could just smile wryly at, but from a woman's point of view, this was obviously pure humiliation. Are we gonna step in, save the day? When I was trapped by those thugs and had been paralyzed with fear, Shion fearlessly stood up to them and saved me. Still, as humiliating as it was, Shion was also partly to blame for this. Is she really? I don't know about that. And it wasn't as though her life was at stake, right? Even these guys, they were just going to jeer at her in a bit of a lewd situation. It's not like they were going to eat Shion alive or anything. But then again, it's not exactly Shion's fault in the same way that it was your fault for kicking over some bikes. It'd be alright if I just consoled her afterwards.
私だって怖かったですよ。
Yeah, she did have us promise her we were gonna save her.
でも他ならぬケイちゃんのピンチだし、
元気
勇
です。
気出して頑張りましたってことです。
When I, a man, was being assailed by 3 thugs while paralyzed with fear, Shion saved me without a second thought. What about now? These sleazy, filthy degenerates were trying to pin the blame on Shion. This time, our roles were reversed. Hey, Keiichi Maibara, if you don't save her now, when will you be able to repay the debt you owe her? You scared, Keiichi Maibara? At that time, Mion didn't even show a hint of hesitation. Then what about now? I'm not hesitating. Then what? If you're not hesitating, then why aren't you helping her?
さあ観念するでござる。ほほほ。
やかましいぞ重量オーバー。
Yeah.
俺の目が黒いうちに出てうせろ。
What are you gonna do, nerd me to death? I grabbed Shion's shoulder firmly and pulled her behind me.
ケイちゃん。
分かっておらんでござるな。そのスタッフが世のオズボに粗相をした。
What are you gonna do? Pull out your trap card? I don't know.
これはお仕置きなのでござる。
お仕置きが必要なのはって男なら能書き吐くな。腕で物を言ってみろ。
I mean, I wouldn't suggest immediately going to punching, but, you know, it might work. It's not like the police are gonna get in here and stop you. They don't have a ticket. My body was lifted into the air like nothing. I was thrown right back into my own seat. This guy is strong? Oh, so we didn't punch, he punched us, or something. No matter how you look at it, Athletic and this Lardo aren't even in the same area code. Forgive me, Master, but I'll have to go all out just this once. The man smirked, showing off his gum line.
Kei-chan, 大丈夫?
Dang it, how lame must I look right now?
シオンは足を引っ掛けられたんだろう。向こうが悪いんだから、突き上がらせることなんかないぞ。
そうだけど、でもやっぱり悪いのは私だし。
もう一度だ。行くぞー。これくらいでへこたれるケイイチ様だと思うなよ。
Keiichi's just getting the crap beat out of him.
もう一度だ。
Where's all this snapping noises coming from?
口ほどにもないでござるね。
まだまだ。
See, we should have started the baseball anime already, and because we didn't, we're not physically strong enough now. Rise, my will to fight. Not just running. I planted every one of my steps firmly as I closed the distance to the lard ball. Each time I ripped my foot off the floor, I could feel my burning spirit flare up from the point of impact. Oh boy, now we're starting our I always forget what they're called. We're starting our fighting anime. This is gonna take 3 episodes for us to get through this fight at this point. Everything slowed down like I was walking underwater. As I stepped forward in that vicious flow of time, I calmly measured the gap between us. With our difference in height, reach was my ultimate advantage. There was an ever so tiny distance between us where only my punch would be able to reach. I unleashed my iron fist of righteous anger, but it flew towards his face slowly like I was punching underwater. Reacting to that, with a smirk on his face, the fatso easily slipped inside of my punch. I hadn't realized it until now, but in this mired time I was able to observe his baffling counterattack with almost painful clarity. His arms slowly swung around in a large windmill motion. Wrapped around my whiffed punch, and descended in an arc. That arm swung around like the arms of a clock. It came into contact with my head, twisting my upper body around. I'm just kind of imagining him like he's doing this windmill arm thing and he's coming at you. Right? He looks like an idiot. Dragging my head along, he followed through with another rotation. This time he rotated his entire body like a top, followed by another rotation. What, is he like spin attacking you? Combining defense and offense, it was a brilliant counter. That's right, 3 times. I was thrown after 3 rotations, I think. In this vicious region of time, I was unable to struggle, and I could only wait dumbstruck until the moment I was thrown. The moment I was, that sluggish temporal anomaly abruptly ended. Good job, Keiichi.
修行が足りないでござるよ。ヤングメン。
Whoa! I was loath to admit it, but against someone trained in martial arts, I couldn't win through force of will alone. After my consciousness faded in a wave of dizziness, when I came to, I was lying down in my own seat.
怪我しなくてよかったですね。
Have you guys ever seen that that meme where it says while you were, I can't remember how it goes, but it's like, while you were so and so, I was practicing the blade. That's what I'm thinking here. While you were eating sweets, I was practicing the blade. The more experienced waitress from before wiped the sweat from my brow with a towel. While she was doing that, a red-faced and teary-eyed Shion trudged over.
大丈夫ですか？私なんかのために。すみませんでした。
Just a little brain damage is all, it's okay.
俺こそ役に立たなくてすまん。俺喧嘩って勝ったことないし。
Clearly not. You just got like...
私のために助けに来てくれただけで。
You just got spin attacked to death.
本当ですよ。
I'm pretty sure that's not part of martial arts, to like just to start spinning like a top with your arms windmilling and go at somebody.
それだけでも今日はケイちゃんに来てもらえてよかったかなって。
As she said that, she stuck her tongue out teasingly. She wiped off the whipped cream with the washcloth she was holding in her hands.
園崎さん、R 入ってもいいですよ。あと 1,2 時間でしょ。あ、いいんです。バイトとはいえお給料もらってる身ですから、時間内はちゃんと働きたいんです。だから本当お気遣いなく。
She couldn't even put up a brave front. I would never even think for a second that Mion could be that weak. This was Shion, and she had been harassed by some unreasonable riffraff. That was reality.
ケイちゃんは気にしないでデザートいっぱい食べててくださいね。一通り食べ終わったらアンケートを書いてもらいますので。
How was your experience today? I got knocked out. It was terrible.
じゃあ私ホールに戻りますね。
After some consoling words and a sympathetic smile to Shion, the other waitress started to head back to work. That's where I stopped her.
すみません、ウェイトレスさん。電話借りたいんですけど。
電話ですか？レジ横にございますよ。ご案内いたします。
I pulled a 10 yen coin from my wallet. This wasn't about saving face. My being a worthless coward was an unchangeable fact, but I could just cry myself to sleep about that later tonight. Now was not the time for tears. I had to fight.
確かチケット1枚で4人まで OK なんですよね。あと3人呼んでもいいんですよね。
ええ、そうですけど一応名簿に書きますのでお名前を伺ってもよろしいですか？
I turned around and glared at the greasy hooligan who subjected Shion to that humiliation. There are 3 things that aren't working in your favor today, punk. Punk! The first is that I owe Shion. The second is that I'm a man who's not afraid to throw away his pride to win. And the third is that we're the most powerful club members in history.